Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Kallie Doucette, Naturopathic Doctor, and now that it's finally spring and the sun is shining, I thought it'd be a great time to talk about how to pick a safe sunscreen. So, everyone always thinks that high SPF must mean more protection, and that's actually very misleading. So, what SPF actually stands for is it's the protection factor you get against UVB rays. And UVB rays are the rays that tend to penetrate more shallow, and they're the ones that cause sunburns and that reddening of the skin. And so SPF 30 protects you against 97% of UVB rays. Going up to SPF 50, you get 98% protection. So what I'm saying is that when you double your SPF, you're actually only getting basically a 1% increase in the amount of protection from that sunscreen. And the higher the SPF, the more sun filtering chemicals that have to be used. So it's not actually necessarily beneficial to go above SPF. And a lot of countries around the world aren't actually allowing manufacturers to put anything above SPF 50 on their labels. And the other thing that's really important is protecting yourself against UVA rays. So UVA rays are the ones that don't cause a sunburn. They actually go more deeper in the skin. They're the ones that cause aging and wrinkling. And so you got to make sure that you're getting a sunscreen that has a broad spectrum protection, so to protect yourself against UVA rays. And one thing I always tell people is don't use spray-on sunscreens, especially with your kids, because what's happening is they're running around, you're trying to spray it on, and you can actually, there's a risk of inhalation with that, and it's not very good things for kids to be ingesting. And it's been found that when you spray sunscreens on, it tends to be not evenly coated, and you can miss quite a few spots, which could cause a sunburn. And when it comes to picking a sunscreen, I always tell people you want to really pay attention to the ingredients. So there's a lot of ingredients in sunscreen that aren't good for your health, and our skin is very much absorbable, so we're absorbing things that we're putting on our skin. So one common ingredient is oxybenzone, and that has been known to cause hormonal dysregulation and to cause allergies. So I would avoid that in sunscreens if possible. And I'd switch to more of a mineral-based sunscreen that contains either titanium or zinc dioxide. And if you're wondering where to buy a sunscreen, I would say the best place to start is to go online to the Environmental Working Group's Skin Deep website. And so what this is you can go on, type in a name of a sunscreen while you're in the store, and it'll actually rate it on a toxicity scale from 1 to 10 to tell you if it is something that you should consider using. And they also list a bunch of sunscreens on their website that they think are ideal. So check that out. I'll put a link above this video here. And when it comes to applying your sunscreens, what I always tell people is, even if your sunscreen's supposed to last for a really long time, because you're sweating, you're moving around, you're rubbing up against things, you want to make sure you're reapplying every 2 hours. And if you're going in the water, you want to make sure you're reapplying even more than that. So water-resistant sunscreens are actually only good for 40 minutes. And when you're in the water, those sun rays, when they bounce off the water, it's actually reflecting back 80% of sun rays. So you're almost getting hit with double the amount of sun rays when you're in the water. So you need to be extra cautious. So those are my main tips. And one of the better things I would say for people is, if you can avoid sunscreen altogether and get outside and be covered up in UPF clothing, wearing a hat, and going out in the morning when the sun isn't the strongest, that would be the best thing you can do. But if you are going to be out in peak times for more than 20 minutes, then you should be using a sunscreen. So enjoy the sun, but be safe and have a great night.